Broadcasting live from the heart of Europe. This is... Oh, fuck. We screwed this up. Right off the bat, we screwed up the goddamn audio. Because I was doing something earlier. Broadcasting live from the heart of Europe. This is the most badass YouTube broadcast in all of the known land. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tommy C. This is Shop the Point. I apologize to the great Broski, up-and-coming podcaster. I actually fucked up the audio. You heard it fine, but not everybody else. And it's
I heard it fine, so I'm happy.
Yeah, that's it. So maybe I'll just cut off the fucking beginning. Actually, no, we'll just leave it. This is one of, and I told myself to click. I'm not going to even get into it. Today we have, as part of our ongoing series of small YouTubers, we have Broski. One of these days he's going to be in a playlist that I'm going to make. We've done Wooly One, we've done Willie Mac Show, we've done a lot of guys. This is somebody that the Right Opinion didn't recommend, and I think it was about time to bring a actual podcaster by the name of Broski, a former member of our news team, and he went on to bigger and better things. He's got an interesting story and an interesting sort of look on the beginning, middle, and collapse of the blood sports community. He's very close with Tonka. Might be really interesting to talk about that. And most recently, drama with Andy Warski, which I find bizarre. And, of course, everybody's favorite potato fucker, JF. Broski, welcome to the program. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me, Tommy. This is a big deal for me. I've been watching you for a minute.
Well, yeah, no, you've been around for since the beta days. You've been around for.
I've been around since the hockey days, dude.
So you were around then too?
Yeah, I was just very quiet. Never used to kind of talk in the chats, but I was around. Yeah, I remember your hockey streams.
Good Canadian boy, aren't you? He's a good Canadian boy.
Actually, I'm the least patriotic Canadian in the history of.
Why so? Why so? Don Cherry would hate your guts. If you
that's fine. I hate Don Cherry.
How do you hate Don Cherry?
Because I'm from Quebec and we don't like him. He doesn't like us.
Are you French though?
Yeah, I'm French Canadian. Yeah.
I
did all my schooling in French, Tommy.
You guys are all you wear the field. Only the Frenchmen and the Europeans wear those things because they're pussies. How could you not like Don? Well, because he hates the Canadians. That's why.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fair enough. Well, I mean, he was the coach of the goddamn Boston Bruins. You know that, right?
Of course I do. That's another reason why I don't like him.
That's all right. Old Don Cherry screwed 6 ways to Sunday. Listen, you have 2 podcasts that I'm familiar with. It's Late Night with Broski and The Morning Decay. You are quite ambitious. It's spread off of two separate channels. And you've had a relationship with Tonka. And you were kind of, I guess... You were, I don't know how to phrase this correctly. You were sort of being helped by Tonka from the ground up during the whole sort of blood sports birth and now explosion. So thankfully you weren't adopted in that crew because you've kind of cleared the way. Would you agree that maybe not associating yourself or maybe being too early, maybe it may have helped you a little bit because you are growing. You're getting close to cracking 1,000 an episode. You're getting the memes, the fan art, stuff like that. And you got a clean slate, unlike a lot of people in that community. What do you think of the whole collapse of the blood sports community?
I think the biggest thing for me that kind of ruined it is when the term internet blood sports was created.
Oh wow.
Because the thing is I was watching I've known Tonka since before the Kumite.
Gotcha.
When he was on Grapple Vision making wrestling videos.
Gotcha.
I used to watch his stuff before I knew who he was.
Mm-hmm.
And then a mutual friend of ours kind of introduced us via a Twitter group chat, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So then I got to talking to him. We talked about wrestling. You know how it is when wrestling fans get together. It's like an instant friend.
You can't. It's going places. Go ahead though.
Yeah, so I remember the Kumite when it was 40 people in the chat.
Gotcha.
And we were talking about Godzilla and old toys from the 90s that we used to play with.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Kumite started out as.
Mm-hmm.
The whole internet blood sports thing kind of happened once Warski started shouting out Kumite on Warski Live, when his show was really taking off, as well as Medicare. Medicare started tweeting out.
But Medicare was really well established prior to that being the internet aristocrat. I mean, he knows this game back and forth. But go ahead.
Yeah. Exactly. So what happened then is he got Destiny, Brittany Venti, and a couple other people for this, like, I think it was something like a 12-hour stream on either Christmas, I think the day after Christmas or New Year's Eve, something like that.
Gotcha.
It was around the holidays. And then his channel just kind of took off, and then it just turned into what everybody when everybody really started paying attention, it was, the Kumite was the blood sports and bloods for the blood god. And, I was still watching. I was still in there, but there was also part of me that was like, man, can we just talk about Godzilla today instead of yelling at another pedophile?
It really didn't grab you because, I mean, I know when you started, you were pretty much going for wrestling and stuff like that. You were entertained when you kept on getting banned off of Twitter every other week. You were really going this. So that really turned you off? Are you not interested in the politics?
It's not so much the content that turned me off. It was everything around it. People started getting doxxed. People started really going after Tonka, doxing him, going after his family, stuff like that. And that just kind of like, it just really turned me off, because at the same time I was like, okay, this is happening, but you're also bringing some of these people on your stream, making them notorious in a way, and kind of puffing up their egos. So I always had this kind of like conflicting thing where I want to support the things that Tonka does, because Tonka has done a lot for me, not just on YouTube. He's done a lot for me.
You've been very open about that in your podcast.
Because at one point it's not like I feel like I need to defend Tonka, because if anybody has ever listened to Tonka,
he can handle himself.
He can cut a promo. He's fine.
There's no doubt about it.
He doesn't need me, but it just came to the point where I was like, no, you guys got the dude wrong. He's not this horrible person that's in it for the money. Tonka doesn't need YouTube.
Yeah, it appears that way, but I mean, in fairness to, I don't know, me, could you see where some of the characters that he was rolling with, and not just him, by the way, he was in good company. Some of the people, the fact that all this doxing's going on. I mean, I'm sure Tonka didn't want Destiny's. I still have yet to see the freaking tweet that got Destiny banned. No one's ever sent it to me. I mean, if he did dox Tonka, good fucking riddance. If that would be the case, goodbye Destiny. I'm no fan of him.
No, me neither.
But I mean, is there a certain amount of I don't know, I mean, like, look, I think me and Tonka are okay. There's a certain amount of responsibility with, as far as like rolling with, cats like JF, the alt-right. With it comes, a lot of attention, a hardcore fan following, but you don't get to talk about Godzilla, like you said.
No, there definitely is a part of personal responsibility, and I'm sure that, like, I from talking to him, we've never had like this direct conversation of like, oh, do you feel bad or do you feel this or that? But I think there definitely is some sense of personal responsibility that he has to take for it. But at the same time, it's kind of it's
because you know him.
Exactly. See, that's the thing. It's like people to say, like, I get the comments like, oh, you're a Tonka dick rider. It's like, nah, I know the guy behind the show.
Gotcha.
I've been talking to him before, it's not even before he blew up, because his Grapple Vision channel, it was bigger than any other channel that he's ever done after that.
I'm not even familiar with Grapple Vision. What was that?
Grapple Vision was basically, he would take like a compilation of wrestling clips and either like he'll either like tell a story with the clips by taking podcasts. Cool. Or he would do this thing. Do you remember the old bit from Bugs Bunny cartoons when it was like, good idea, bad idea?
I think so,
he'd be like, good idea, and then he would show like a pretty cool spot, and then the bad idea, he'd show some like backyarder just killing
some
himself
big botch.
Yeah, exactly. So he did a lot of those, and that's how I found him originally.
And that channel, I guess, what, WWE slapped it down or something like that?
No, it's still there. In fact, he gave me the streaming key to it when I was doing a wrestling podcast, so I could get in front of a bigger audience.
Is it an Activision?
It's Grapple Vision.
Is it an active?
Yeah, I think there's still, Tonka's not on it anymore, I don't think.
I got you.
But there are other shows that are on that channel.
Because check that out, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because he said there's 32,000 or 33,000 subs there that are looking for content. So here's a whole network of wrestling fans that you can listen to.
Okay, I'm going to have to check that out. I'm actually interested in that. Because Tonka's views on wrestling are quite interesting.
No, he's spot on. Now, I love talking wrestling with him.
To kind of go back, like I said, I think Tonka's doing a lot of things right now to straighten shit out. A lot of good things, and I think he's proved to me, without a doubt, that he's got a big heart. I mean, that was the first thing that I noticed. Well, maybe I am wrong about this guy. Maybe I am getting caught up, like I'm claiming they're getting caught up in my own hate and what have you. And you know, I've seen. I don't know this. I know Bloodsports fans wouldn't agree with it, but I kind of like the new Kumite. I like when hearing Ian's on. It's just good old fashioned radio, and that's why I got into this shit in the first place.
Exactly.
And it's interesting coming from guys like that. It's just wild how this whole thing just spun absolutely out of control.
Oh, it was crazy watching it just go from this little tiny chat that no one knew about to not even being able to see if anybody that you knew was there
in the chat. It was that crazy. We're talking about 10, like, you know, Warski Live, anywhere from 10 to 20,000 people. That's PewDiePie numbers when he streams games. I mean, that's serious. That's like whoever heard of that for a live stream on YouTube? That's really uncommon.
Before it struck down and had to bounce around from channel to channel, Kumite was doing about 2,500, 3,000 a day. Easy, yeah. That is amazing. Yeah. Wow. So it was really cool to actually watch it go from this small little thing to just blow up. It was a really interesting process. Even if I was just on the outside of it, kind of friendly with pretty much everybody on that side.
Sure, it's fun. I've been there when Joe Cronin blew up. It's a good feeling. I know exactly what you're talking about. You know, because I didn't even know what YouTube was practically. And then, you know, he has a Sunday that he's going on these live streams after Raw, and it was just watching it explode. You know, when you get that first 100, 500, 1,000, like, what is this? This is insane. All of a sudden he has 10,000 subs. And that seems to be the real hard one to break. Yeah, they have 32,000 subs over there at Grapple. I have to sub them right now. Yeah, definitely want to check that out. Okay, so that's your relationship with Tonka. Now, you're running your podcast. All of a sudden, and I don't know exactly where this happened, but I've learned the hard way. Tonka and me put different. I was having an arcade string, and we had an impromptu interview. It lasted almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
I deliberately didn't bring up uncomfortable stuff because I thought after I didn't think it was a good idea. So let's stick to shit that we probably both like: sports, wrestling, video games, shit of that nature. But I mean, I don't know if it was anything more than 4 minutes that we talked about Andy Warski, and we did talk about some other stuff. This spawned a reaction from Andy, but before I get into that, you had drama with Andy and JF. How did that whole start?
I wouldn't necessarily. I had drama with Andy. I've been a sub of his, like I told you earlier, since he was about 7,000 subs. So I just felt that when Andy was on the Kumite, here's how I see Andy. Andy is a chameleon. Yes. Whoever he's around, Andy will start to act like them. So when he was on Kumite, he started to kind of act like Tonka, a little more aggressive, a little more looking for a fight. Whereas when he was with JF, he was very, very meek, very quiet, very in the background. And I don't think Warski liked that.
I'm sure. I mean, it's called Warski Live.
Exactly.
For a reason.
So as far as any beef with Andy, I unfollowed him after he wrenched someone who had just posted a docs earlier in the chat, like literally maybe a minute before this dude was posting doxes of somebody who actually I've had on my show and kind of have a relationship with as well. And then right after that, he said, "Hey, Warski, give me a wrench." And Warski just kind of, "Here you go, have a wrench." And so I unfollowed him after that, and he DM'd me because we had been talking about back and forth about doing a little something together. Nothing really too crazy, but just doing something together. And and he just kind of, you know, asked me why I unfollowed him, and I told him, what I just explained. And yeah, he kind of felt like I was picking sides, which I told him in the DMs, I don't do that. I'm not in high school. I don't pick sides.
So you hadn't gone public with anything. This is just like, you are starting to separate yourself.
I had spoken about it in public before.
You had spoken about it in public. Okay, so I mean, Andy does have every kind of right to ask you, you know, what's up with that? I thought we were friends, right? So what happened after that?
We had spoken before. Then this was last night, and then last night he went on to Vamp Candy's stream. and they confronted him with a whole bunch of proof that his new co-host Geek Thulu was a lying snake. He was one of these guys that had bragged that he influenced Warski to fire JF, which was complete bullshit.
Yeah.
And Warski, kind of DM'd me, and he's like, dude, I totally get why you unfollowed me. I totally understand now. And to be honest, what he was saying on the stream, I mean, 50-50, leaning more on the bullshit side.
Well, what was he saying on the stream, though, for people that don't listen?
That he had no idea that there were doxers around him. He had no idea that the circle he was running with were kind of shady characters.
That's fucking horseshit. I don't believe that for a minute. I mean, he'd been doxed himself when he fucking fucked around with Baked Alaska. You'd figure.
That's the thing. And I'll be straight up honest with you, Tommy. This is a guy who's been watching Warski since 7,000 subs. So I'm just kind of like, I really want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but every day just kind of makes it harder and harder and harder, so it's
yeah, I mean, like, my experience with him was politely telling him the Joe Sparkle thing, like, no, I don't think this is good for the kids, and I'm not really interested in my daughter here this weekend. And he stood back and said, come on, man, you guys fight all the time. I was like, no, man, I was like, this is different. There's real people in the volume, and you want to talk about somehow Joy being vindicated for what? Another little known fact, Joy approached me first, and I turned her down.
Yeah.
And like, I don't get that. This is not what this is about. And I keep remembering that when I was on a Warski show, I was like, look, this chick's gonna flip, and she's gonna when the story runs its course, she's going to turn it on the mother. I said that in October on Warski Live.
Yeah,
and he agrees with me, and so does Chris. And or at least they consider the possibility, I should say.
Yeah.
Then I just was so shocked by that my explanation wasn't good enough for him. And then there's one thing to say it private, then he said it publicly, right? So at the same time, Joy keeps poking at me, and I poked back. And then there's the setup. Like, no, I'm not going on. I'm going to make my statement here. You guys can do what you want with it. And him acting like that, sort of like oblivious. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I know what's going on. I told you no, and you keep on fucking trying to set me up. And you're not setting me up because you like me. You're setting me up because you need more blood for blood sports. And that was it for me and Andy Warski. He never apologized. He never contacted me. He never tried to straighten anything out. None of it. It was just like I was just one more guy that needed to be thrown in the volcano to keep his fucking stupid show going. So I don't know. I understand, like, there was a guy who used to come in here a lot. Honestly, he was an Warski apologist, and I just don't know how much more he has to do. So how did the actual drama start between you guys?
Okay, well, that pretty much sums up my relationship with Warski. But for JF's a total different story. JF is from the same part of the world that I'm from.
Yes, yeah. So you know that world.
JF has that thick French accent that I can put on, but I can also speak like I'm speaking now without it.
You speak fluent French?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I did all my schooling in French.
Gotcha.
Yeah, 100% fluent. Yeah.
Okay.
I just had parents that, thank God, my mother spoke to me in English and my father spoke to me in French. So
that's
by the time I could speak,
that's what you're supposed to do if you want bilingual kid. Yeah. Gotcha.
So by the time I could speak, I spoke both without an accent in both languages.
So you are French Canadian to the bone.
Yes.
You just don't sound like this.
I do not sound like it unless I want to, Tommy.
And
then I can turn it on, no problem.
I don't sound like Martin Brodeur.
Exactly.
Okay.
So JF, like, I've been poking at JF for a while, just sending him tweets in English, and then he'll answer me in English, so I'll throw him a French tweet just to throw him off. But just to let him know, I know where you're from. I can play on both I can play on both levels.
Yeah,
and you're not doing Quebec justice, my friend.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
So you don't like all that, Anthony. You're not into those kind of politics. That's not your bag at all, right?
I don't. I think if you're focusing too much on the color of your skin, you need to find something else to do.
Yeah.
That's always the way I've seen it. And this, I don't know. We're all just people.
But I mean, JF's such a lol cow. I mean, that's one of the great things about
that's
JF.
The thing.
He's too funny.
But then when I go around to other streams and then people are like, "Oh, Broski's French Canadian," then I have to deal with all the JF memes. So what I was basically doing is I was launching a campaign to save the integrity of Quebec as a province, because JF is just ruining it. He's just absolutely ruining our reputation. So that's what it starts. It's 100% bants with.
Yeah,
this
but I
dude.
mean, it's super duper liberal over there. I mean, look, I grew up in the States, probably a good 8-hour drive from where you're from, dude. It's super duper liberal. JF's a freak. Everybody knows that, I would think, right?
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I like poking at.
I'm surprised they haven't put him in jail over there in that crazy country of yours.
Right?
You know.
Why do you think I'm trying to marry an American woman, Tommy?
Get the fuck out of there. Get away from
Trying
Trudeau.
to get out of here, son.
Get out of Trudeau. Yeah. Good man. Good
Yes.
move. Good
Dude,
move.
I figured, dude, if your eyebrows can't stay on by themselves, you can't run a country. You can't.
You do not like Trudeau. He is from Quebec.
No, I
No, you're not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan either. I heard he likes to grab the women's.
Yeah, I heard that too. Imagine my shock.
Imagine your but the whole thing is with that. Just to go off the side, he probably didn't do anything wrong. But the fact is that I guess was a cabinet member or somebody on the opposite political spectrum got accused. Is like, hey, you got to resign. Well, but what about you, Justin?
Yeah,
you got to resign now. Well, it's all bullshit. Well, that's what the other guy said. You said had to resign. Women need to be believed.
I will go down to Ottawa wrapped in the Canadian flag. To accept his resignation papers.
Really?
That's
all right. So you're trying to get out of the country. That's fine.
I'm trying.
But I don't think anybody believes that JF is anything other than a freak from his area.
No, he's a pretend intellectual who just likes to bully women.
I think that's, well, I mean, your chameleon metaphor, I think, is well noted, and that's probably what he is too. He's frustrated with women. They won't do what they're told.
Essentially, yeah. Well, did you see him, like the re-education of Emily Yukis? Did you see those clips?
All right. Here's the thing about Emily Yukis. Emily Yukis, for our fans, is the girl who said "nuke Africa," if you can believe that. I mean, yeah.
I'm not saying she's someone I'd take home to Mama Broski.
Okay. Yes. No. Definitely not. Like, I find it funny because I didn't know she was from Philadelphia, right? Yeah. I didn't know she was from Philadelphia, and she works for Aramark, which is she's basically a contractor in Veterans Stadium where the Phillies play, and sold pistachios. And I didn't know that because had I known that, I would have aired that before anybody because her act is funny. Now, she did the whole Nuke Africa thing. And what did JF do to Emily Yukis?
Well, he was like muting her and talking to her basically like a child.
Yeah.
Like, do you understand these rules, Emily? Do you understand the YouTube rules?
What was she saying?
She was just saying things like he was basically, the guy who was on Warski Live crying and bitching about my free speech was basically telling somebody they couldn't say a bunch of things on his channel.
Well, what couldn't they say? Because there are some things you can't say, like Nuke Africa too often is going to lose you your channel.
Right.
In fairness, I hate to stick up for JF.
It's not the fact that he doesn't want some things said on his channel. It's the way he went about doing it.
Oh, I see.
That's the problem.
And his past positions, like absolute free speech under any circumstances.
Yeah,
Emily, shut the fuck up, you bitch. You're acting so stupid. You are turning me on. Something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So one morning, we were doing the morning decay. Mm-hmm. And we decided, I can't remember, one of us, me or Optic, said, everybody go tweet JF and tell him how sorry you are for Optic firing him and replacing him with the high IQ Quebecois Broski. So a bunch of our guys went over there and started tweeting him. He proceeded to block everybody.
Yeah, he blocks everybody. He's big pussy.
And then asked a mutual friend of ours, Queen of Bands, in DMs, what is morning decay and why are people telling me I'm fired?
What is the morning decay? So what happened to Emily Yukis? He canned her completely?
Yes, I believe so. He fired her. Yeah. And
then she got noticed by the Philadelphia media and she lost her job at Veterans Stadiums with Aramark as well.
She did, yeah.
Why did she? What happened there? Like
that, I'm not familiar with. I'm not.
I mean, she was on the news. Familiar. She was on the fucking news over there. I watched it.
Yeah, I didn't.
In fact, she made Colbert. I don't know if you know that too.
Really? No, I didn't know. No,
she made Colbert. Like they made a whole bit about the pistachio supremacist.
Oh my god!
Like, are my pistachios the other pistachios are inferior? I shit you not. I tweeted it out on the SFTP news. That's Twitter, which by the way is in the description box below if you want to go to it. No, I'm kidding you, and it makes me kind of wonder. You know, with the people that what came first? Did she get kicked first, and then the job found out?
I think she lost her job, gained some notoriety off of that.
Okay.
Kind of got on JF's radar, and then like she got on the show.
So she lost her job, and then JF distanced himself from her.
Yeah, like what happened is when Warski and JF broke up, they did their separate shows. Like he started the Public Space, I think it's called, and he was going through, very interestingly enough, women, just one woman after another. Different.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me, by the way. But go ahead.
No, not at all. Not at all.
That's cool.
And then Yuka showed up, and the views went through the roof. Like it was like the most popular stream he had had.
So she had an Andy JF problem. He had an Andy JF problem. Is what you're saying?
Essentially, yeah.
But yeah, because JF is infinitely more interesting than Andy could ever hope to be on his best day, unless he showed up all fucked up or something. And now we have this girl she's not bad looking, you know.
No, she's cute. I'll give her that. She's cute.
And she's saying outrageous, funny, crazy shit.
So of course,
and here's the best part: it looks like she means it. You know.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing.
We're not being unironic here, or whatever the fucking douchebags on Twitter like to say. You know, they're being quite literal. We have to nuke Africa and stop all their money.
So like it's a waste of resources or something.
Yeah. And it's not even like cruel. It's like natural selection. That was the other thing she said that was funny.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very good that you knew. I don't want you to lose your channel, JF. But I think we need to nuke Africa. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Just saying.
My point is too. I'm a little sympathetic of JF want to shut it the fuck up.
Oh, I totally understand why he wants to shut her up. I have no issues with that. Like you can do whatever you want on your channel.
Yeah.
Like I don't believe like, you know, free speech. It's like, no, you're not using free speech the right way. Like it doesn't mean you can just be an asshole.
I mean, what's good is free speech if YouTube won't let you talk because you're fucking saying nuke Africa. And that is like clearly in like there's no way around that. I mean, that could clearly fucking cover hate speech. I mean, this is not a gray fucking area.
Like
this is a clear violation
I can understand. Like I said, like I can understand why he did it because I've had people when I was just streaming on Twitch doing the same thing I'm doing now on YouTube. When I was just streaming it on Twitch, I've had some people come on the channel and say some things. I'm like, thank God no one knows who I am.
It happened to me early on too. Yeah, I know. Thank God.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're just
that's true. If you're small enough. It depends. There's certain things I can get away. I could get away with that as a 1,000 sub streamer, which is a lot more than I could when I was even 10 or up. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
exactly what you're talking about. All right, so
it that was really gross.
So does it get ugly between you and Warski or JF? Like where does this lead?
I think I'm done with JF because he blocked me, so I don't have any kind of way. And I'm not the type of dude who's going to go out of his way to fuck with somebody. It was just a bit that came up on the show.
So you're essentially just doing bits and these little bitches can't handle it?
Yeah, 100%.
And what about Warski?
I'm okay with Warski. I would talk to him. There's a few things I would like to ask him. Yeah. I don't support what he's doing. I don't like what he's doing.
Just tell him to check in the hospital. That's what he
him as a person, I don't hate Andy. I don't.
I mean, the only reason not to hate. The only reason not to hate Andy is for some reason that he can't help it. That he is so easily led, and his IQ is so fucking low, that he's just completely unself-aware. Otherwise, I don't necessarily believe that. I think Andy, is one of the worst snakes on the platform.
Yeah, you think so?
One of the worst guys.
You've been right about a lot. You've been right about a shockingly large amount of things, like way ahead of time too. So,
I read them. Like, look, I'm from New Jersey. I know what douche scumbags when I see them. All right. Mm-hmm. I also know when people fuck up and get caught up in the lights of YouTube. Which, by the way, you could put me on that list. Mm-hmm. I got a little arrogant and cocky for a while. You probably remember that pretty clearly.
It's hard not to.
Bit me straight in the ass. You know, thinking I could take on everybody. So I also have a little empathy for people that caught up in the lights, and you know, I want to help them. You know, I want to say, hey, you can attack, but fucking slow it down. You don't want to end up like me. You know? Yeah. And
that's why I just try to keep things like bits and just like, nah, man.
So you're doing classic radio over there, is what you're saying.
Essentially, yeah. It really just started out. I do it with a guy I've been listening to his show for like 7 years, who does a wrestling podcast.
Who's that?
His name is Brandon at BTTG161 on Twitter.
Okay.
The show is called Marking Out.
I think I've
That's
heard of that. I
without
heard
a
you
G.
talking about that.
Yeah, they do a great show. They're good boys from New York, so you know.
So you guys are 30-something dudes talking about the stuff you were into in the 90s. Bringing out wrestling and
that's how it started.
This JF stuff and Andy stuff is just
it's all a bit. It's just a goof.
It's just a goof. You're not looking to get into it on the politics end. It's just not your bag whatsoever.
No, I just like, I'm just a dummy with a microphone. I just have fun with it, man. I'm not looking to change the world. I'm not looking to spread a big old message out there. If there's any message I want to spread out there, it's just be cool, man. Just relax. Don't take the internet so seriously and have a good time.
I got you.
Like I'll get into my fair share of arguments and I'll fight and I'll yell like a crazy person. But at the end of the day, I go to bed, I turn this computer off, and I'm out. Like I'm in the real world.
Well, it took me a while to learn how to do that, and I tell you something. Everybody gets their channels back and what have you, and people start learning new tactics or understanding the algorithm back there. You could see a situation where Andy's long fucking gone and the Kumite is reborn. A very simple situation like that. And then, I think although it's probably painful now with the numbers not being what they were, I think they've successfully stripped the alt-right and some of the dirtier components that, let's face it, Andy wasn't able to strip himself from completely. Andy Warski. And then I think, there could be a future for you and the Kumite and everybody. And I guess failure is making up with that shit's getting strained out as well, correct? That's from the best of my knowledge, that's pretty much been squashed. That's been squashed. That's good stuff. And I think that, and I said a lot around stuff about Tonka, so I mean, and I'm not taking the streams down for the very least reason. Oh, but God, no. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, like, what's really impressing me about Tonka is, like, he's straightening shit out. Like, Andy never sat down to me and fucking ever. He didn't give a fuck, like, about the thing. It's he just got mad at me that I wouldn't throw myself in the volcano. That's the thing. But, like, Tonka's gone out of his way to sort of speak to my friends and get this stuff straight. And I was completely and totally. I think the hardest thing for me to watch, and these were my enemies, was that Medicare stream.
Oh God, yeah.
And where it was a circular firing squad.
Yeah, I hated that.
I'm watching this stuff, and here's the thing: like, Tonka's like, people come to me, I'm like, fuck Tonka, fuck that guy. He runs with fucking Chief, runs with Nazis, whatever, right? But I like a lot of my friends really like Tonka, and they swear by them, and I'm like, even my own news team, like, nah, he's not bad in this area, and I think he got them all wrong in that area. Or you might be right about this, it's legit, but I mean, Tonka overall is a good guy. And then I watched this fucking thing on Madiger's channel where it's just like everybody gets turned, getting accused of being a doxer, personally attacked. I mean, it was just, and I watched that, and I'm like, all right, man, maybe I don't like this guy, but he don't deserve this shit. And just that's having a little background in wrestling and knowing what those guys are like in the ring. Guys that, I mean, I never got to go. I would have loved to go in a ring and take a bump as a manager, and that's the best I could hope for. So I know that, whatever kind of wrestler Tonka is or isn't, that he probably lives the code and worked real hard to even step in an independent ring.
Oh, he's good. Yeah, he's good.
He I tell you, so he moves well and he sells well. Yeah, he moves well. I watched him the other his old wrestling persona. He moves well and he sells real well, and he's just got such a passion for it, And I'm watching this piece of garbage. This guy who, was talking about looking at CP, and he's sitting there disparaging Tonka in this way. It actually, it's like it really made me angry. You're disparaging his fighting, you're disparaging his wrestling, And then even like one guy that was a little suspicious of Tonka, they worked it out and find out that Tonka didn't lie about a fucking thing. And the biggest thing they could get him on was his height. And they do fucking, if you're going to wrestle as a cruiserweight, and there has been 6 foot cruiserweights, I know that for a fact. I know I stood next to Jeff Hardy. He's only a little bit shorter than me. He may even be as tall as I am, as far as I remember. And they knock down, if you're going to wrestle cruiserweight, then they're going to knock you down to 5'11". If you're going to wrestle, you're going to be 6'1". I know that's true, and he's sitting there calling. It just made me nuts. It's a crime against wrestling.
It's like the Andre the Giant, by the end of his career, wasn't 7 feet tall anymore.
No.
So,
but they billed him. I don't think he was ever 7'4". I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no, he definitely wasn't. He
I don't
definitely
think
wasn't.
he was ever 7'4" a minute of his life.
You gotta go big, pal.
But I just think, I like I said, I know what it's like for wrestlers, how much pride it takes to get through wrestling school, man. I have a little bit of an idea going through, like, you're not a wrestler till you finish wrestling school. You're not a soldier till you finish boot camp, Exactly. And it's just like, how could they fucking do that to this fucking guy? And then, slowly but surely, I started to see, like, you know what? Maybe this guy got a little caught up, and the show must go on mentality that you learn in wrestling school.
He's definitely applied that.
Then he applied that, and I get all that. Yeah, there is a code.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like wrestling's like a brotherhood once you get inside of it.
And I've never even been in it or anywhere close to it, but I know that.
Well, when I was younger, I did train, and I've had 3 matches.
Have you really?
So,
what was your gimmick?
Well, the first 2 matches I worked babyface, good guy, because I was like a $160, like with rocks in my pocket. So like it's really easy to get sympathy on me, right? You get the big evil heel beating the crap out of me. I make my comeback. Everybody's happy.
You have to take one of those fucking clotheslines, right?
Yeah. And then,
yeah.
But then the 3rd match I got to work heel, and that was so much fun.
That
was the best.
I told this to Tonka. Roddy Piper whispered in my ear because he wanted to break kayfabe. Keep in mind, it's like 2003.
Yeah.
But he's like, baby faces are boring. And that's God's honest truth.
I've always loved the heels, Tommy.
Yeah, I mean too. I think that's all I ever wanted to be was like, I didn't even want to be a wrestler. I just wanted to be like, Bobby Heenan or Jimmy Hart or those.
There will never be a greater manager than Bobby Heenan. Never. Maybe Jim Cornette. There can be an argument.
Cornette's there. Yeah, those are the guys that I really, really wanted to be because I know my mouth can get under people's nerves. And, people would probably want to see me get thrown through a fucking table or some fucking 6'5" guy kick the ever-living shit out of me.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I was so good at I was just this tiny little dude whose ego was bigger than the room, right? Yeah. Like, I would go up to kids, rip up their signs.
That's a can't-miss gimmick.
So much fun.
All wrestling is this. There's a belt, and everybody wants it, and there's an infinite amount of stories you can tell. And I think that's the problem with the WWE. They get away from that very simple storyline. That's all you need. That's it.
Like I only watch NXT pay-per-views and like the monthly pay-per-views now. I don't watch Raw and SmackDown.
That's the only whenever I cancel, usually after WrestleMania. I'm surprised I've been canceled this month. And that's the only thing I watch is NXT. It's the only thing I can swallow because that's wrestling. That's what it's supposed to be. It actually wasn't even like that in my lifetime. NXT is one of the best products and best products I've ever seen.
I'll watch Gargano and Ciampa all day long instead of watching any main roster product.
Amazing, isn't he?
They're both incredible. I love them.
But I like the heel. I like Ciampa.
But Ciampa,
Sicilian psychopath. It's a Sicilian psychopath. Yeah, I like Ciampa a lot. Update in the game. I know we're probably missing people from the England. It is 1-1 Croatia. Croatia apparently at the was it the 5th minute? What do they got here? It's 1-1. Let me reset this. I'll refresh. Let some people know because I'm going to go right in the chat and it's 2 yellow cards and the 68th minute Croatia tied it up. So that's the biggest game in the world right now, boy. And lucky you got to be on during that.
Oh, I have like literally no interest.
This is the closest thing to an English jersey I have. So it was a Liverpool jersey. So I'm just kind of shouting out the English a little bit. I am rooting for them. And it would be nice to see them go up against France. That would be cool.
I know a lot of cool people in the UK. So go England.
Go England. All right. Right now I want to plug. I want to talk about Broski's podcasts. Broski does a late night podcast. I guess you go to work. So you do one in the morning, you go to work, and you get back and you do another one, correct?
No, I just do one in the morning, and then I do one at night,
Yeah, okay, I got you. And let's see, I got to be honest with you. The one I caught for doing a little prep up was the Morning Decay, where you work with a guy named Optic Decay. You might know him because he made the art that you have right up there now with the hockey stick and the microphone. I've used his art in fair use, I hope, for Tonka, stuff like that. This guy's amazing. But the thing that's really interesting about your podcast, you have all the typical YouTube podcast things, the scrolling chat. He draws a character or an event as you go through. Right? And he's a really, really talented guy if you haven't seen him. The art I use in the arcade for my own fans. I mean, and you guys talk about the kind of stuff you want to talk about. The pop culture stuff, the stuff you remember when you were kids. And he makes these, I guess, is comic book fair? Would you be offended?
he's a comic book artist by trade, self-taught.
Wow.
So didn't need to go to art school or anything like that. I was first turned on to him because I saw his stuff on the Kumite. And for those of you who follow the Kumite, if you remember, there was talks of a comic book being produced and sold. Optic was the artist that was chosen to do that.
Sure.
So I started talking to him through, I think, probably through Tonka. And, talked to him once, thought he was a really cool guy. Didn't really talk to him again for a couple weeks. Then I just figured, hey, why don't you come on the stream sometime? We'll just, shoot the shit and see how things go. Gotcha. And we ended up hitting it off. Like we're kind of close in age, so we grew up liking the same things, listening to the same music, playing with the same toys when we were kids. So then fast forward a few months after that, and we were going to originally start a morning show with Failure, who was going to relaunch Failure in the Morning. We did one episode. He got a strike on his channel. A whole bunch of stuff was going on at that time with the Kumite. Optic was like, you want to keep going? And I was like, okay. So the next morning we woke up, 8 a.m., did the show, and we've been going strong every morning since.
That's good stuff. And I really highly recommend that. That's really great.
It's basically Bob Ross with swearing.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah.
When people ask me how to describe it, I say,
I'm gonna start getting into all your podcasts. I'm gonna really start making an effort to keep an eye, because there is, as much as I hated blood sports, I really like the idea of a community of podcasts. I really think that's fucking great. And if everybody can get along and, not just suck each other's dicks, but get rid of all the doxing bullshit and stuff like that. I think you guys have a lot to offer. The Kumite, the morning DECAY, and then late night with Broski.
We got a small little group growing right now where you can go from, we moved the show back to 9 a.m. So we start out, you can go from 9 a.m. all the way up until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's almost like a network, like a radio station. You just gotta
and it all just happened organically. We never got into any Discord call and be like, wow, hey, you take this time slot, because we don't do that. We just kind of, all right, well, you're streaming at this time, so I'm not going to step on your toes. Bitch. It was all just mutual respect for us, who we all watch each other.
I think the type of content you guys are producing, I don't believe, because I would get complaints about people coming up, you're streaming at the same time I am. I was like, well, when the fuck do I get to stream? Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But you guys are doing legit, like 3 hours is a normal radio spot on terrestrial radio, right? Yep. But I think what you guys are doing, if you guys want to coordinate, there's nothing wrong with that. And it's probably going to just be in all your benefits if you do just that.
Yeah, because I watch it. I'm kind of a numbers guy, right? I like looking at the numbers. I like kind of seeing what's working, what's not working. And since we've been kind of and that's the thing, there was no conversation. It just happened organically. And I've noticed, since we've all been kind of working together, popping in on each other's shows and just kind of having a good time, everybody's growing. Everybody's
growing right now. That's fantastic.
Everybody's growing right now, because me and Optic made a conscious decision once we broke off from Failure in the Morning, or that just didn't work. That just didn't work out.
Gotcha.
We're like, we are not blood sports. We are not here to do what Tonka does. And I did this when I started late night too. I did
Vamp Candy's also got her own show as well.
Vamp is great. Vamp is also part of that.
Okay.
We originally, the Morning DECAY was like, hey Vamp, we're gonna lead into you. And she's like, all right. So she promotes us. And then when we're done our show, we're like, Vamp is going live in 5 minutes. Go check her out. So we send everybody to her. She sends her people to us. We send our people to her, and everybody grows. So we're really just working together without ever really sitting down and being like, you got this from this time to that time, and then you got this time to that time. It's like, no, dude, this is YouTube. There are no time slots. If you want to work together, we work together. If not, you can stream at the same time as I do. That's cool.
Yeah, I think that's great. Sorry, I did get distracted. It was a very important DM. I didn't mean to disrespect you at all.
No problem.
That DM I had to answer.
No problem.
So that's great. So all right, here's a tough question. What's the difference between Broski, Late Night with Broski, and the Morning Decay? Is there any kind of discernible difference or something like that?
Definitely.
Okay.
At the base of it, we're just people talking, so that way they're similar. But Morning Decay has Optic doing art while we're talking, and a lot of the times, if it's your birthday and you tell us, you get to choose what you want.
That's cool.
So we had one girl Lolly, who wanted to have me shot out of a cannon while she lit it. So he drew that.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, and we'll just if there's some big event on YouTube that'll happen and people are talking about it, we'll draw our interpretation of that. So there's that. There's a whole art aspect to Optics stream and my stream, The Morning Decay.
So if you ever wanted to be a part of blood sports minus all the assholes, this is like a really good community to be a part of. The Kumite, Morning Decay, Broski,
Exactly.
Vam Canyon, and stuff like that.
If you got a problem, we'll talk to you. But we're not necessarily going to start screaming you down, because I'm not Tonka. I'm not Tonka. I couldn't.
Yeah,
be
you're not.
Tonka.
You don't really seem to have a mean bone in your body. Why do you listen to so many mean people?
I could no. I see. The thing is if you come at me, see, I have no reason to be mean to you, so that's why I'm being nice right now. I don't have any reason.
Yeah, well, I've always liked you, bros. You've never been nothing but nice to me.
Yeah, well,
even when me and Tonka were getting into it, I know it made you really uncomfortable, but you were never fuck you.
I gotta be on. When you guys were going back and forth on Twitter, I was like, oh no, the darkest timeline is happening. No.
Well, Tonka was saying he was pushed into a lot of it, and he didn't know the fuck I was, and I didn't know who the fuck he was.
I knew who you were more than Tonka did.
And
that's why
Tonka
I saw you guys going.
All I see is these crazy nuts in my chat, and then Tonka seems to be the biggest badass of the crew. He seems to be taking aim at me, and I didn't want to end up like Repsion and Mundane Matt. I mean, no one's gonna make me. I'm gonna swing back.
Yeah, no, I don't.
And I'm gonna swing back as hard as I can.
I'm exactly the same way. That's why if you're cool to me, I have no reason to be mean to you. But if you come at me sideways, I can. Sure. I can be mean. I can be mean. Yeah.
Thank you so much, American Gladfly. I do appreciate it.
Shut up, Gadfly.
Gadfly? I don't read anybody's name.
No, he's just
what are they all talking about in the chat? Am I missing something in the chat? Because I've been really trying to pay attention to Broski. And you know what? Would you mind taking some calls? If you guys want to jump in and ask Broski some questions or bring up anything, and if you have any questions about this community, which I'm going to start paying attention to. Another thing that's cool about the Kumite is Ian Miles Chung's on, and he's being interviewed tomorrow. By the way,
right.
Yeah, we got Ian on tomorrow, and I enjoy listening. Ian and Tonka is some of my favorite stuff. As far as that type of podcast, I dig that shit. I really think that's cool. I like how Tonka's sort of betraying himself. He's like, look, I'm a fucking normie that's on the internet, Yeah.
Yeah, and he really is, though. That's the thing.
Is he really though? I mean, he knows way more than your average normie. You know what I mean?
He knows. Okay, look, he's not a YouTube normie, right?
Yeah.
So he knows what's going on YouTube because that's where he streams.
Gotcha.
But everything else, complete normie, total normie.
Total normie.
Gotcha. Yeah, it took this guy Scrub hours to explain to Tonka how to get an emulator running right. So,
He's old school. He's old school. He's that old.
He's old school. Yeah.
I'm so old school. I can't play Donkey Kong. On MAME.
On MAME, yeah, exactly.
Well, it is interesting, and you also said something I found in one. You say it's like we get so enveloped in this world, like nobody knows who the fuck Medicare is. Nobody knows who the fuck Tommy C is, or like with a couple of YouTube exceptions, maybe like the top like a Boogie or a Keemstar or a Pootie Pie. Like we do in our small communities think we're something that we're not. We're not celebrities. Just but you can get wrapped up thinking that way, and you could make really bad decisions based on that line of thinking. Easily. I mean, I have a lot of people butter my ass, but I constantly have to keep it real because I'll make bad entertainment decisions. And when I get my ass buttered, I take it as like, wow, that guy's really nice. I'm humbled. I don't start thinking I'm hot shit. I hate taking L's. Thanks so much, Namas. Get them likes up. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's get them only 2 to 100. Would appreciate it if you got those likes up. The phone lines are open if you want to ask him one question, and we're just going to waiting to call. There he is, Mr. Tonka Saw. Tonka, you're on the air, buddy.
What's up?
Oh, well,
I had to pause
hold
the
on.
stream.
You're a little low. That might be on my end. Hang on. Hang loose. Hang loose. Oh, no, are you close to the microphone, Tonka? Oops. Are you close to the microphone?
Is it better? Worse?
Yeah, it's much better. I'll bounce you all the way up to 200%. So what do you think of your boy's interview? I think he did a pretty good job.
I think he did not too terrible.
Not too
he could have been worse. Could have been worse.
He's mad at me because I broke kayfabe. No, he's a nice guy.
Do you like this idea that you guys are sort of forming a new community, the Ashes of Blood Sports, and it's a better group of people? I mean, am I onto something, or is it just the way I'm seeing it?
Well, no, that's always kind of been like a thing that motivates me, is encourage people to put in some kind of work and start doing something.
I hate taking L's.
Whoa, $20 for my Koopa Troop High. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Go ahead, Tonka. I'm sorry for the interruption, but I got to take
No, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a real good one. But go ahead.
But that's always been kind of a thing, is just to encourage people to be productive, do something, and not sit around in some muck, do some dumb shit. I'd rather people do things that are actually half-ass worth something. And there's still a lot of people may not know yet. We're back on the main channel, like, as of today.
Fantastic. That would be your channel, right? Tonka Saw?
Yeah. Oh. That happened today. We tried to end by 2 so we could send everybody over here to you and Broski.
I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me.
And yeah, this is your new channel too, right?
This is the reason I'm kind of trying to obey the algorithm a little bit. It supposedly puts me in a better chance of getting the recommendeds. I mean, that's something I wanted to bring up to you both. All right. What about making different thumbnails for every episode? I know mine aren't beautiful, but they get the point across, and you could still put the emblem in of each your episodes. I think you really increase your chances of bringing more people.
We just started doing that like right before we left Andy's channel. That's probably going to be something we do now, because the new logo thing that we have, it's kind of thin, so we could put that on one side and whatever we're doing on the other side of the thumbnail.
What about you, Broski?
Same thing. I've been starting to do it for about a week and a half now, where I've been putting a little. At first, I was just being lazy, and people would make me stuff, and I was like, "Here you go, boom."
That's right here.
Just put that.
Well, you remember my thumbnails back in the hockey days? I didn't realize how, but I didn't understand YouTube. Like, I mean, I came in. This is a total normie too. Like, I'll just put a picture of Jeremy Roenick there. But dude, there's a whole art behind that, and it's super important. It's good if it's hard to make a thumbnail about a topic that you're going to talk. Whoa! Oh my God!
Whoa!
Dude. Ooh, thank you. Whoa. Wow, dude. I guess you're. Wow. I've been having it's been a good week. It's been a good week. Thank you so much. It's been a good week. It's been fantastic. We're top draws, Tonka. We're top draws. Yeah, I know. Like, it's crazy. Thank you so much.
Put us in the main event, Tommy.
Yeah, well, sure. This channel has been. I think it's actually helping splitting things up, because I am trying to obey the algorithm, because I'm talking to this guy, Nerd City, who was actually a fan of mine.
Oh, he knows a lot about that stuff.
Yeah, he's just
love that dude.
And he's we have different schedules. I think he's on the West Coast, and over here he's literally waking up and go to sleep. But on vacation, we talked. He says, "You're probably wearing your fans out a little bit. Split it up, and then what I'll do is I'll do 1 or 2 over here. I do want to go back to doing a video show. I so miss making videos, right? And then I'm going to give the news team. I think you guys are going to be really surprised what the news team puts out as far as a podcast, which I think is going to look a little like your guys' podcast with the chat and scrolling down and stuff like that. And then we'll mix it up with different characters. I think we'll get 3 pieces of content on 3 separate channels. And we're kind of fucking sucking the algorithm's dick. But I mean,
but you're putting in that work.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
Yeah, that's what we do. Oh boy, I like being friends with you guys. I like being friends.
I was listening to you guys though. There was some you guys were talking that I don't know if you know the new bit that's happened. Last night, Andy came on to Vamp's channel.
I didn't know that. I got to start watching more of your drama. Thanks, Vega.
Andy Warski hopped over there and he apologized to Vamp, apologized to me. He told everybody he felt disgusted with himself.
Mm-hmm.
He disavowed a lot of the bullshit that's been going on over on his channel with moderators who were doxing people and doing he disavowed all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Disavowed the people involved, and he's trying to figure shit out. And I'm trying to be mad fair. I want to see where he lands for saying anything. But
I hope you don't mind me saying this, but you never lost faith in him. I have. I'm fucking hurt by what happened. I don't know if you ever should bring him to me, to be honest with you. But I mean, That's another thing, Tonka, that you do have faith in people that I don't.
That's where, like, I'm an extremely cynical person in most instances, and for some reason, like, Andy comes in, and I do, like, feel bad. I don't want to hate Andy.
I know you don't.
But I'm waiting on. I'm
kind of afraid of Andy. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Not that he'd come over and whip my ass or anything, but then I'll put myself in a bad position because I'm not vigilant enough. And I don't like being around people that I feel like I have to be vigilant around. It's irritating. You know, it's
you always have to kind of watch what's up.
Yeah, it's stress you don't need.
Yeah,
it gets a bit stressful, but it's.
Yeah.
I don't know. I ended up I got into an argument with his girlfriend on Twitter. I ended up feeling bad about that, but everybody's kind of started talking. It was on Vamp's channel last night. He came in. I don't know. Like, again, like it's hard to hate somebody when they come at you and they say, "Listen, I'm disgusted with myself. I'm sorry for what's happened."
Yeah, I got you.
Give me a minute.
Well, I mean, I don't. Andy reached out to me when I was fucking in the dirt, losing anywhere from 20 to 50 subs a day, you know, and he did reach out, and that didn't seem to bother him, you know, and I was always grateful for that. And I think if anybody listened to my interview on Andy's channel, I think it's pretty fucking good. And I like that. I like bro Andy. I like Chris, you know. I didn't like not seeing Chris around when he really blew up. That bothered me. I thought Chris earned that. You know, being a perfect number 2 in a lot of ways.
But
he really complimented
Chris got
him.
into something else, by the way.
He did?
Like, he started getting into, he got into a different business.
Okay, because I know Chris told me he had a degree in something and he was working towards it, so that makes a certain amount of sense. But whether it was Andy's doing or not, it felt awful. Not being there, especially that everything was going on. And the rumors were swirling that it had a lot to do with his skin color, which makes my skin crawl.
That was a very big rumor.
That was a big rumor. Well, I mean, I think it was one of those things where people looked at it as like, where the fuck is Chris?
Well, it seemed evident.
Yeah, it did seem evident, you know. Where the fuck is Chris? You know? I heard you lost your eye. I bought that one.
Yeah, he got a fireball to the eye. Now he has a glass eye. He's also in a wheelchair. That's what happens
when you listen to Mox, Tommy.
But that was the first step. Actually, that was the first step, right? That I got to cool off. I don't want to be like that. I'm going right back to where I was. I got to fucking cool off. I got a story wrong. And then if I do that, I'm setting myself up for failure. No pun intended. But no, that was like the first thing. And the second thing was the Medicare stuff. And, you know, I really wish both you guys the best. And I like the fact that you kind of got into YouTube for the same reasons I did, sports and radio. And I think that's something we all have in common. And it's tough being a guy like that in a sort of really quick, fast-paced, jump cut YouTube world that is really it's for kids, and then guys in their 30s and 40s.
Stuff like sports and radio are looked down on.
Yeah, sports and radio, and it's tough. I get where you guys are coming from in a lot of sense because I did it too. The only difference is I think I dig stupid drama among fucking young people on this platform. I think it's really fucking entertaining to find out about the dumb shit they do. And I think this, you know, I got picked up at Baited, but it didn't mean I didn't like this shit. You know, I definitely love. Thank you, not sorry. I do appreciate it. You got me. I'm going to tell you something right now, Tonka. It looks like you got me on this channel. Let's see, 92. You got me like 30 subs, dude. I appreciate that.
Oh shit! Oh,
yeah,
cool.
Like 30 somewhere. Actually, a little more, a little about 40, somewhere like that. So I appreciate that. And if anybody's listening right now, this is the backup channel. There's gonna be other stuff going on. If you want to listen to the podcast floats back and forth between the two, you can check out Tommy C's SFTP. Broski, I want you to finish it off. This is the end. I think I'm gonna go find out what happened to England right after this, and then I'm gonna jump in the. They are in the 90th minute.
I'm hearing they're about to throw it away, Tommy.
Yeah, I told you I can't lose. They lose stupid, or they do dramatic. But yeah, they're tied, extra time, 90th minute. So we got to get out of here. Broski, you got the last words, buddy. Before we get out of here.
I'll be streaming tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you guys want to come hang out and say what's up, that's youtube.com/late night with Broski.
Late night with Broski. That is exactly 5 hours from now. So you make that. Say, Tonka, thanks so much for coming on. I'm glad we're getting along, and I do wish your community the best, and if I can help them out, I will. I like the idea of a 24-hour sort of network between all you guys. It's sort of like something I wanted to do back in the hockey days, and
It's
you guys.
fun. It's a lot of fun.
And now that I know what time you're on, I actually have a time I can be like, okay, time to stop. Tommy's on. Somebody go to Tommy.
Yeah. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna make a real effort. Thanks so much for the subs, everything. I do gotta end this because I gotta watch this fucking game. I gotta be honest with you.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Thanks for having me on, Tommy.
No problem, broski. Probably it's not gonna be the last time. I promise you there. Maybe we'll get you on the main channel next time, and stuff like that. From everybody, go check out all these Vamp Candy, Tonka, Failure, Broski, DECAY. Do it now.
Almighty infinite, independent excellence. Devil fighting, rebel titan, weed smoking alchemist. Fake identities, okay, you cool with Jason Bourne. Running with these Wolverines, okay, you about to catch a storm. I ain't never been a liar, got tired of niggas playing me. Head in my legs like she about to catch a pedigree. Chi-town, the king's home, slapping fives, black stones, 6 mile to danger zones. Bullets look like waffle cones. Folk affiliated to evolution of Machiavelli. Don't make me lead them eagles to you like I'm Chip Kelly. They feel my struggle, I express it through my hip hop. I'm about to make it hard to breathe. Here's a headline.